Espionage in the 21st Century, Protecting Your Air Gap. This talk is about cyber espionage, not cybercrime. Cybercrime mostly focuses on stealing commodity data that can be flipped quickly for money: credit card numbers, banking account information, information for identity theft. Espionage, on the other hand, is about gaining information that has much more strategic value. For example, a country might want inside knowledge about another country's position while negotiating new trade deals. An energy firm might want to know the details about a competitor's oil exploration results in order to determine how much they want to bid for the same land. In the extreme, the adversary might want to move beyond information and exercise control over the computers and the real-world assets that they control. The general defining characteristics of cyber espionage is the Advanced Persistent Threat, or APT. The adversary isn't interested in defacing your website or taking down your services with DDoS attacks. They want to get in and stay in for a long time, and that means staying under the radar. The subtitle of this presentation is Protecting Your Air Gap. In this presentation, we look at how attackers can reach into the deepest, most secure locations in your organization, steal your information, or control your systems. Today, virtually every organization's most valuable assets, business records, business plans, research results, sophisticated equipment, live in digital form in your computers or are controlled by your computers. While much of these assets are directly reachable from the internet, if you are a security-conscious organization, you probably place your most valuable assets on isolated networks, air-gapped from the rest of the network. But are they safe? I'm afraid the answer is no. In this presentation, we show you why the air gap doesn't provide you with the protection you think it does. But we also show you how you can protect your air gap. If your organization protects its most valuable assets on air gap networks, you need to consider implementing a plan similar to what we present here, or be prepared to explain to your stakeholders why you chose not to take such precautions. For this presentation, we built all the software, both the attackers and the defenders, ourselves. But as they say at the movies, what we show here has been inspired by actual events. For example, in 2008, a flash drive, planted by a foreign adversary, was picked up by a soldier or employee of the Department of Defense's Central Command and inserted into one of their computers. What is Central Command responsible for? Well, for starters, are military operations involving Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and other volatile countries in the region. Not exactly small or unimportant stuff. Now, that seemingly innocent first step started a chain reaction that infected both unclassified and classified networks. With beachheads established on both networks, this foreign adversary could receive secret information from the classified network and, just as dangerously, send commands back into it. As you probably heard recently, the Predator UAV ground control computers were infected. Both unclassified and supposedly air-gapped classified machines were infected, leading to the possibility that information has been transferred across the internet. We, the public, don't know what has happened, and if the powers that be actually know, they aren't sharing. But unfortunately, as the article says, time and again, the air gaps have been bridged. Let's look at how something like this might happen. We'll start with a well-protected network that might resemble your organization. In the upper left-hand corner is some adversary connected to the internet. Maybe the adversary is a foreign intelligence agency, some patriotic hackers operating out of China, or terrorists operating out of Pakistan. Your adversary's goal is to reach deep into your network, to access and control your most sensitive computers on the right. You, as far as you know, do everything right. You have a firewall installed at the perimeter. You also have a network-based intrusion prevention system watching all the traffic in and out of your network. You are fully patched. You have antivirus software with fully up-to-date signatures on all your machines. And you have an air gap separating your primary network from your isolated network. Why would your organization go through all the trouble of having an isolated network? Maybe for your unmanned aerial vehicles, or your commercial or military radar systems. Remember Syria's radar completely missing Israel's planes flying in to bomb one of their nuclear facilities? Or you have expensive satellites or a space station. I would really hate for a hacker to accidentally or otherwise deorbit the ISS. Or your latest pharmaceutical research, your next multi-billion-dollar blockbuster drug. Or your investment bank's money. Given how twitchy the financial markets and economies are right now, Can you imagine the havoc that could be caused by a few well-planned sell orders? Where did MF Global's money go anyways? Or your nuclear power plant putting electricity on the grid for power or processing material for your nuclear arsenal. You may have heard of a recent case such as this. So, you have important assets to protect, and you, as far as you know, are doing everything right. Then there's the big question, are you safe? Unfortunately, the answer is no. We're going to show you why, but then we're also going to show you how you can protect yourself from these type of threats. The most important problem is one of the most famous whipping boys of computer security, the flash drive. The primary reason it is dangerous is that it is so darn convenient, so ubiquitous, and at the same time, so necessary. Why is it necessary? This description by Eric Burns sums it up nicely. All manner of data still has to flow across the gap, including project data, software updates and patches, antivirus signatures, and documentation. In short, no network is an island. Eventually, for your own needs, you need to bridge the air gap, and the attacker just needs to piggyback on your efforts. Whether you bridge the gap with a flash drive, a removable hard drive, or even a write-once CD-ROM drive, the attacker can still piggyback along for the ride. But for this presentation, we're going to stick with the flash drive because it's probably how most people create the bridge. But also, the flash drive makes a great infection vector. How great? Look at the results from this experiment by the Department of Homeland Security. The DHS sprinkled USB thumb drives and CDs in the parking lot of government workers and private contractors. Of those who picked them up, 60% of them plugged them into their work computers. If the bad guys just put a company logo on the flash drive or disk, 90% of the people stick them into their office computers. In some cases, that is all it takes for an infection. In some cases, like we show in a second, it might take a little social engineering, but it is pretty easy to do. So let's see how this can be done. Penetrations into a Windows machine are well known. So for this demonstration, we're going to show that it can be done on a Mac just as easily. You plug in a flash drive into your computer. You click on it. Before you open anything, you scan it with antivirus software. First antivirus software is ClamAV. We start the scan. And sure enough, it says it's safe, no infected files. But you're extra security conscious, so you're going to go ahead and scan it with the second antivirus software, this one from Sophos. Once again, we start the scan of the flash drive. And again, it says, no threats detected. Phew! We are safe. Let's go open some files now. Let's open the folder, Random Stuff. And here there's two files. We'll open Carl's office, and we just see a picture, a JPEG. Nothing exciting. Go ahead and close Preview. Close the folder. Let's look at the next one. It's a picture of the Sphinx. Go ahead and open it up. Here's another JPEG of the Sphinx. Finally, there's the PDF file. We'll go ahead and open that up. And it's a document about the Aurora spy plane. It's just a normal PDF file, nothing exciting. Uh-oh, now you're infected. In fact, you've been actually infected 3 times. The folder, the picture, and the PDF files were all Trojan horses. Trojan horses like these are trivial to write, and as far as I can tell, undetectable by antivirus software. Now combine this with the fact that up to 90% of your users will stick the flash drive into their work computers, and you have a big problem. Once your systems are infected, as you move a flash drive back and forth across the air gap, you create a bridge for the attacker to exploit. With this bridge in place, the attacker now has a full path to exfiltrate data out of your network and import programs into your network. So, is all hope lost? Fortunately, the answer is no. At least not if you're running detailed audit trails. All of these actions, all of them which are completely invisible to your current security architecture, light up like a Christmas tree with audit trails. With audit trails running and software to analyze the data, each step of the attack is both fairly easy to detect and analyze. To help find this type of activity, we use 2 applications that we wrote. Audit Explorer, which is our primary tool to analyze audit trails, and Audit Explorer Filter Editor, which lets us write very specific filters that Audit Explorer can then use to flag certain types of activities. How do we use Filter Editor to catch this type of activity? We begin by thinking what the attacker's goal is, to bridge the air gap, and what is the action the attacker needs to do to carry out that goal. The attacker needs to secretly read data from and write data to your flash drive. This is the essence of bridging your air gap. Thus, our goal becomes looking for any process secretly reading from or writing to the flash drive. For example, if you want to use the Finder to drag files on and off the flash drive, you write a rule that essentially says, only the Finder can read and write files to the flash drive. That's it. Now you've essentially blocked the attacker from having APTs carry out these actions in secret. If he tries it, you will know about it. Well, conceptually it's that easy. In practice, it's a bit harder, but not by much. The primary problem is that, surprisingly, once you plug in the flash drive into your computer, a number of legitimate demons swoop down and start manipulating the flash drive. You have to take these into account when developing your filter rule. And you basically find out about these legitimate demons through a bit of trial and error. But once you do, you simply add these to your filter rule as exceptions. In conclusion, cyber espionage is very real. It is happening every single day to organizations all around the world. Trojan horses and advanced persistent threats are easy to sneak past your defenses. Your air gap into your most sensitive computers can be crossed by attackers. They can extract information out of your isolated network and insert new code to be run inside your isolated network. Fortunately, audit trails and audit analysis tools can help you detect these APTs secretly passing data and programs back and forth across your air gap. Finally, if you do nothing else, never ever put a USB flash drive you just happen to find into your computer. It is just way too easy to penetrate your systems that way. If you have any questions or want more details on the rules we used for this presentation, please send us an email at auditexplorer_feedback@netsq.com. Thank you.